Hello, everybody listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. It's your boy 2K Suave. I'm here with my boy R.A.W.E. Shout out to Derek Jeter, just got into the Hall of Fame. And then we have a special, years in the making guest, Mr. Jerome Reed.
You see it. Talk to him. Like
what's going on, Jerome?
Hey, man, I'm glad to be on part of this, man. I'm glad to be a part of it, man. Just seeing the growth y'all boys been on the past couple of years. I see it, man. Just continue to stay at it, bro. I'm in major support. But yeah, man, glad to be on this right now, man.
We got ourselves a local celebrity, Mr. Jerome over here.
Don't do it like that, nah. Still neighborhood. Still in the neighborhood, man. Right now.
He was talking about expand your palate. I'm like, damn, man, this man done changed.
Yo, you know how it is, man. You go somewhere new, man. Even if it's Tampa, bro, I'm trying to hit a new restaurant immediately, somewhere I ain't never been. Peabody's is still a favorite, though.
Exactly.
Still a favorite.
Much appreciation coming on the show, man. I mean, we go way back, long time, man. When I was at FGCU and we met, man.
Absolutely,
we both young, looking hurt down there, man. Now out of college, looking good. Ain't shit changed the money in our bank account. So I love saying that every time. So
exactly that, bro. Just teach me what I need to do to get a beard, bro. Like I've been trying since 2007 and nothing.
It's too late now, bro.
Hey, listen, I got hope, bro. If it don't hit by 2030, I'm gonna let it go.
Listen, man, you light skinned, man. Light skinned people don't need beards, man. You already got it all being light skinned. So let my dark skinned self enjoy my beard and let Mr. A-Rod enjoy his beard because we need them. Light skinned people, they're blessed from birth.
I'm gonna hold it down with the goatee then, like that slightly connecting.
Yeah, I feel that one.
If it don't grow, just let it go, man. That's my motto for it, man. So just if it don't come, just rock with what you got, man. Make it.
I gotta put that cord at the top behind my back.
Bro.
Whatever you do, don't Beijing it. We don't need that. We don't need that Beijing shit coming on.
My barber hit me with that last time. I had to tell him don't do that again, man. I had to tell him don't do that again.
That's happened to me before. That shit was dripping on the side of my face.
Right.
I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Right. Like your first shower.
All right, let's give a rundown on what's going on this episode. So it's season 2. We're going to be bringing on a lot of guests. We got a lot more guests that'll be popping up. So we have our good friend Jerome on today. He's going to give us some insight about himself. He's going to talk about his program R.A.W.E, and then we're going to get to know him a little bit better. We'll also jump into this Bishop Sycamore situation that's going on and how it's impacting headlines. And is this like one of the biggest scandals that we've seen in high school football to come? And then we're going to give you just a quick NCAA preview of the first week of football. We'll talk about merging conferences, programs wanting to leave their conferences and what the lay of the land is looking like. And then our final 4 for the college playoffs. And then for the fun segment, we are going to, it could be its own segment. We're just going to turn into fun. We're going to give NFL predictions for the MVP, Super Bowl, and then the winners, what we're going to do. And then one bold prediction from each of us on the season. It can be the hot take. And
it's got to be bold.
Yeah.
Anybody can say, oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 4,000 yards. So I'm like, okay.
Right. That's a given.
So come with something very intriguing right off the rip, guys. So, all right. So let's jump into our guest, Jerome Reed. So, Jerome, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. The floor is yours. Plug in anything you want to plug in right off the rips.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So, Jerome Alexander Reed, born in Queens, New York, raised in Mount Dora, Florida. Just like my man A-Rod, spent some time at FGCU from 09 to 13. Got my bachelor's out there at Florida Gulf Coast, then came to the University of Florida in Gainesville, got my master's in telecommunications from that spot. And it was through my experience there at UF that helped birth R.A.W.E Recruits, reaching athletes with education. And it actually started as a class project, believe it or not. And, my first semester there, first class there, got a major blessing from my professor at the time to, kind of sit down with me and figure out how to take this outside the classroom, because it was just like really a business plan project for the moment. But I felt really strongly about it. My partner at the time, he felt really strongly about it. So we really sat down and made it happen. and that's going back to 2015. Fast forward to today, I feel really confident in saying we're a major high school sports media outlet throughout the state, like the entire state of Florida. My predominant area of coverage is really the North Central Florida area. So anywhere from Tampa to Jacksonville. Done some stuff, in outskirts, even more south than Tampa, like, your Fort Myers, Miami, South Florida as a whole. But really feeling good about where we stand within that, just the viewpoint of high school athletics. So I've been fortunate enough to work with some really great people, not just in Florida, but in Tennessee and Atlanta. Been out to Vegas for a couple of events, and really just trying to take this as far as it can go, man. So the primary thing that I really create or help student athletes create is high school recruitment tapes for them to get extra collegiate exposure. So whether it be us going to games to film them and create tape from that, or student athletes sending in video for us to chop up and put together for their help, we do it both ways, and we've seen a lot of success with that.
When did you start using that camera? Because I've been seeing pictures taken of you with the camera and everything. You look all professional and everything. So when did you get into that camera work?
The camera work came, I'd say maybe 2016, when we started moving into like actually attending games.
Okay.
My partner at the time, he had a Nikon, like he owned a Nikon of his own. And that was like our primary camera that we used. Maybe about a year after that, I ended up getting my own, a Canon T5i. That was the first camera I worked with.
How much that run you?
That was about, I'm not gonna hold you, like I went to Best Buy, got on that 12 months, no interest, you know what I'm saying? Had to get on that real quick, but I think all in all, it was about 1,100. It was about 1,100 at the time.
Okay.
Fast forward to today, that camera lasted a good 4 years. I'm not gonna lie, so it was definitely beneficial. Now I have a Canon T8i, and looking to get more into like the Panasonics. I've been reading up on those, Panasonic Lumix, the G7, just super crisp, like water quality. You know what I'm saying? So, the better the picture, the better the product. So that's what yeah, for sure.
Quick question. When we were at FGCU, you used to go to the City of Palms tournament, right?
I went one time when I was actually a student. Yeah, for sure. And then once as
you didn't know the guy who ran it, did you?
At the time I didn't. I know him now, Donnie Wilkie. He's a good dude, and he does a lot of work throughout the state for high level basketball. Like he runs that tournament super well. Donnie Wilkie.
There was a guy, I think he must have passed it on to somebody. He's not a teacher or a professor at FGCU, is he?
Donnie? I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Because I think it was another guy before that, or he worked with another person who was a professor at FGCU. And I completely forgot the guy's name because he told me he ran the City of Palms or had something to do with it. And I got a scholarship out of him or not a scholarship, I got like recommendation letters from him while I was at FGCU for different things that I needed. But I totally forgot the guy's name, so I thought you may know his name.
Black dude, like
old white dude. Really cool.
I thought it was somebody else, but nah, the only dude I know that was in it is Donnie. I've never heard this until right now that somebody from FGCU was a part. That's dope though.
He taught creative writing at FGCU. So
yeah. Okay.
Totally can't remember his name. I thought you may have, but I just know he had some kind of affiliation with it. And he told me he gave me tickets to the City of Palms game, and I think I ended up giving it to like Trammell or somebody like that. So I just
I know back in the day it was even at a different location. I want to say it was at Bishop R.A.W.E High School out there.
That's the one that I went to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. When I was working for the Naples Daily News, that was my first journalism role out of college. Well, even in college, I started with an internship there. But they sent me to the 2013 City of Palms. And they had, I think, Jaleel Okafor was there. A couple of other heads was out there that current pros. So it was a good experience. But that gym, super packed. You know what I'm saying? This is a regular high school gym with top 25 talent all across the board.
Right. Oh, yeah. When you were in college, were you doing journalism? Like, did you think that was going to be a path you were going to take?
Yeah, I always knew that I wanted to be in that space. I really thought that even going into my master's, I wanted to be an ESPN commentator, like play-by-play, and just kind of fell out of love with that, like within the first semester. But even at FGCU, I think my first instance was working with the soccer team there. I did a voiceover for like one of their hype videos. Then it kind of transitioned into me doing more like writing work. That's how I got in with the Naples Daily News, doing a beat writing project for them. And I remember the first story I ever did for the Naples was a story on a girl named Emily Culverhouse. I'll never forget the story. She was one of the first female kickers. Like,
when you do your Hall of Fame speech, make sure you shout her out.
Hey, I got to. Man. I hope she's doing great. She's gotta be like 22 now or something like that. But she had a foot. She was nailing it from like 40 yards.
Where was she at?
She was at Estero High School.
Oh, Estero. Okay, yeah.
Estero High School. I think at the time she might have been a sophomore. This is 2013, something like that. So I just remember like, she's not just on the team for giggles. Like, she really can kick the ball and like be accurate with it. She was nice.
It's funny you say Estero High School. I remember we were in college at FGCU. The big name high school kid down there was Noel Devine. Did you ever get to go see him play?
Oh, one time, man, and he had it. Noel had it, man.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Everybody was talking about him.
What was that?
He ended up going to West Virginia.
Yeah,
West Virginia.
Yeah,
okay.
And then the Eagles picked him up and didn't do anything with him.
I really thought Noel Devine was gonna be like, he was gonna be serious in the league, but it's, you realize how. So I was another kind of question, because you see so many of these kids in high school, on both football and basketball side, and you see some of these kids are like, you can just see the talent is definitely there, right? But it's obviously it's really hard to get to that next level and to that next level. I mean, have you seen like a kid in which like, man, he could really, if he just applied himself a little bit more, he could be this. And have you ran into that situation, and like, have you done anything to try to help that kind of kid?
Yeah, definitely see it in all types of sports, whether it be just like your predominant ones like football or basketball, or even in volleyball, which I'm trying to tap in more to. I think there's kids across the board who have, they have a passion for the game, but it's like, how do I turn that passion into actual work ethic? That's the challenge. And I think from my perspective, all you can really be is like, for lack of a better word, a mentor to that. Like, if you see it, call it out. Yeah. I've been blessed to be in this space where, at least like in this area of North Central Florida, I feel like I can get into any gym, like go to any game, and really like be in the huddles literally, but like be a part of the team in a sense that coaches can look at me and trust me to offer a positive word to a kid that might have the potential but is not executing the right way. You know what I'm saying? So definitely see it across the board for sure. Just try to be there where you can.
For sure.
Yeah.
You organically answered all of my questions I wanted to ask about R.A.W.E. You went right into that perfect description of what it is. Also, I wanted to ask you about journalism, because I remember when we were in school, you wanted to pursue journalism. You answered that one. And then you kind of just answered my last one about like, does R.A.W.E. only cater to football? But it seems like you're hitting every high school sport, trying to get anybody that you can to make some type of a impact on them, whether it's mentoring or making some type of hype video for them or things like that all around. So that's big, man, because I feel like a lot of high school kids in themselves have to rely on their own mechanics to do that on their own, or somebody from the AV club or whatever to do that for them. But this is a whole new thing. I've never heard of anything like this, and I think it's really, really good, man. I commend you for that. That's awesome, man.
So you got football, basketball, what else, and volleyball? What else?
Volleyball. I've done some lacrosse work. I want to tap in more to soccer. I did a tennis tape a couple of years ago. I've done some track and field coverage. So, everything really except for hockey, because I don't think Florida has that at high school level.
Hey, you're right. But it's we got good hockey teams in Florida, and it's weird.
Right, it's weird. It's like,
even the Everblades were good when we were at FGCU, so it's it makes no sense.
I've yet to hit an Everblades game, man. I've never been to a hockey game, period.
Really? What?
Never, bro.
You never been to a Lightning game?
We're trying to change that next month.
You know how dope the Lightning are? Those games. Listen, you know how I am. You know how I love basketball. And you know I love football. I've been to football, basketball, baseball, soccer, volleyball. I've been to everything. The most fun I ever have is going to a hockey game, period.
It just looks like it, like it's so fast paced, like just the energy always
the energy
at the top at all times.
It's the energy.
The last thing you want to do is go to like a game, your first hockey game, and there be no energy there. With the Lightning, like you'll definitely have it from the crowd to the mechanics of the game to the mechanics of the things they have going around the stadium with the actual lightning bolts they have. You'll have a blast, man. It's something you definitely got to do. And if we got to like pry you to a game, like we'll pry you to a game, man. I'll
Listen, man,
shell out some money.
you ain't got to pry me. I'm already ready. I've been ready for like 2 years.
Especially at Emily, like the way that arena is, there's not a bad seat in that arena when it comes to a hockey game. Every seat, no matter what, there's not a bad seat in that arena. You can see the ice really well. The screen is positioned properly. It's just it's catered to somebody who's never watched hockey before. Wow. You know, you go out to the concession stands and everybody's still in a good mood. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, there's always just an infectious energy in there. It's crazy.
That's interesting you say that it's catered to people who don't watch hockey, because I mean, the sport has to understand like where they rank in as far as popularity. Yeah. So it's like, how do you create an experience that's ready for anybody, any type of person of any type of interest to come enjoy it? That's super interesting to me. Yeah. Next month, man. Trying to get there.
All right, we're there.
I'm game. All right, let's go to another question. So we know you were born in New York, but you're repping Florida now. You've been living in Florida for a long time, just like me.
Queens, huh?
Let's talk about
make Queens, New York. Holla at me.
I mean, I'm a Bronx kid, but hey, it is what it is, man. All love in New York.
I got family in the Bronx, man. Much love. All day.
I got a year in my belt in Brooklyn, so that's where I rap. I'm serious too. I'm serious.
Missing 2 more boroughs. That's it. That's all we need. All right, so let's jump into your sports. What sports teams are you fan based of? So we usually ask our guests on the show like their lineage or like their fan base of who they really root for. So I want to hear what yours are.
Right. So I've learned this recently. My dad is a Mets fan, so I'm trying to like just be there with him on that. I try to watch baseball here and there, but I'm a big Mets fan, so I've kind of adopted that over the last few months. I'm trying to hold on to that. But as far as like what I typically grew up with, always been an Eagles fan, like my man KK. I remember which Madden was it where McNabb was on the cover? 07?
McNabb 06.
06. Since then, ever since then, because he was just getting out of the pocket, man. I'm getting 300 yards a game with McNabb in the game. So that's what helped me fall in love with the Eagles. On the basketball tip, definitely grew up a Magic fan, just proximity based. Definitely was a fan of Penny, Grant Hill when he was there. Even like Scott Skiles, I just knew that he was a great shooter. Yeah. Like I knew he was a great shooter. So
a great passer.
Yeah, exactly.
Great passer.
Neil Anderson, him too. But my stepdad, who I grew up with for half of my life, I ain't gonna say my stepdad, my other dad. He's a big Spurs fan.
Word.
Real old school dude. So you could imagine why he liked the Spurs. Just like execution. The pace is there, the execution is there. But so when they're playing, I root for them out of respect. But grew up watching a lot of Tim Duncan. Believe it or not. No, listen, you gotta respect Duncan's game, man. Just the efficiency behind it. He's not gonna do a lot of flash, but he's gonna give you 20 and 13, guaranteed. Love Tim Duncan, man.
The big fundamental, man. You can't hate him. All right, and our last question for you, KK, you take it away. You want to ask that question?
Which one? I got plenty of questions. I got plenty of questions for Jerome. So
I got mad notes. If you see me looking down, I'm collecting thoughts.
It's college related. So
you talking about the UF game?
Yeah.
Man, all right, listen, man, Jerome. First of all, you've seen your team play already. I know you're a UF fan. I ain't, we ain't gonna front. We know. So you've seen them play. First of all, assess how you feel about them first, because then we know what's happening on Saturday. So. But let's talk about what's before that happens. Assess what you've seen from that team so far.
Right. First thing that jumps out, the passing game going to be majorly different. You already know that. Looking at what Emery did, he can toss the ball. I think he went 17 for 27, something like that. 170 plus yards. So
before you continue, do you remember Shoelace Robinson from Michigan? Robinson.
Yes, I do.
That's who he reminds me of.
So, that's actually a super great comparison. Didn't he go leave? He went leave.
Yeah, he went to Jacksonville.
That's right. Right. I don't know what happened after that, but great comparison. But I really think we're going to have to rely heavily on the run game. I think our backs are solid. I think our backup quarterback and Anthony Richardson, you saw what he did getting that late major run TD. He's going to be electric when his time comes. And I wouldn't mind seeing almost like kind of a tandem set. Maybe you bring out Ant for the option in certain situations. I'd love to see that. If we can hold on to a one loss going into the Georgia game and somehow win that game, I feel really great about the rest of the season. Just like I did last year. Obviously, we folded against LSU last year, which hurt.
Yeah.
I felt off about that game going into it for some reason. I knew
that was a weird, the way that game, that was weird, man. That was very strange.
Just you can't even explain it in words. Like I remember telling friends, like I just don't.
It's mental.
Serious enough.
It was mental. And y'all got, and listen, your two best players, I mean, three best players to me, Trash, Tony, and Pitts are all gone.
All gone.
So do you feel as equal mindset as you were last year, or was it a little bit less?
I almost feel equal. I'm leery about the Georgia game. I think Georgia got better. Mm-hmm. I would never say that we got quote unquote worse, but obviously there's some holes there that I think by the Georgia game we'll be able to figure out, at least attempt to figure out. We got time. But again, if we can somehow get past them, we're gonna be all right. I'm definitely not expecting too much from the Alabama game. Hopeful, you know how it is. We talk about the Eagles with that, like.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was listen, I don't know if the world knows yet. I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan, and I'm a USF alum. But my sleeper, my bandwagon, like in my closet, I'm a Alabama fan through and through, because to me, Nick Saban is just, man, he's just like mafia. Man. I just love Nick Saban. So if I was a non-Alabama supporter and I was going up against Alabama, I don't think I have a good chance. Plain and simple. Unless I'm Clemson with Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson, or like a random Saturday where somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And honestly, man, speaking of Clemson, man, I'm really surprised how they performed against Georgia in that game. Like I remember seeing, DJU, the quarterback for Clemson. I remember watching, what is it, QB1? Remember that show?
Yeah, QB1 with Justin Fields in them.
Yeah. I'm just really surprised that that's how it went down for them.
So, does that make you more scared of Georgia then, because of how Clemson played?
A little bit. The defense is there. I think their defense clearly is better than last year, at least going off of one game. Obviously, we got about a month before the Georgia game to really look at it. But in that first game, I was thinking, man, like they don't look like they fell in any way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you said one loss before you see Alabama, right? That's what you're assuming. As long as it won. So we're assuming that one loss won't be against the University of South Florida. Will it?
Absolutely not, bro. If NC State clapped y'all by 45, chill. If we clapping y'all at 46 minimum.
Listen, man, the state of USF right now is not good, man. We are a team. We're a school in disarray. Like,
yo, what's going on? Talk to me. What's happening?
Man, the culture, and I'll let A.R.O.W. take it, but for me, the culture is gone. There's no more culture in USF no more.
I mean, Florida's hard to maintain any sport, in my opinion, because it's just, there's so many things to do here. The nightlife, the beach, the theme parks, all of that. So one, our football facility isn't on campus. You got to go to Raymond James to watch the game. So now you got to get drunk kids to go from college all the way down over there. And nobody wants to take that Uber because, the prices are jacked. Yep. Then you got DUI checkpoints everywhere. Kids are getting smarter nowadays. They ain't going to be doing that.
Right.
And then, like I said, there's just a lot of things to do. So like these kids, I feel like their heart and soul isn't set on it. Like they want to go out to Ybor. They want to go to water. They want to go all these spots to be seen and be outside and be known.
You talking about from a fan base perspective?
No, I'm talking about from the student athlete perspective, man. Because I feel like these kids, I see them out all the time, and I just see them on game day. And like, yeah, it's NC State. I mean, we got to see Jonathan Taylor. Where's Jonathan Taylor? He went to Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor, first game of the season last year.
49-0.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns against us with 300 all-purpose yards, and then we saw BYU just bury us, and then it's we can't even hang with big. We can't even score one touchdown against big name programs.
Bruh, a
The
field
program
goal.
that-
Listen, I'm gonna break it down for you, and because we're just to what A-Rod was just talking about, because a lot of it does have to do just with just where we're at. Like I went to UF once to watch the USF play UF like 10 years ago. This is like, we were still a decent program at that point.
Yeah.
I went to the game. It was hot at the Swamp, real hot, right?
Of course.
But what did I do? I slept on campus. I woke up. I walked to the tailgate on campus,
Right.
did that, and then walked to the game.
Right.
And I had it was so hot, but I had fun because it was just everything was bang, 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 right? And you're in Gainesville. What the hell is there to do in Gainesville besides that one little spot in the corner where all the shit going on? What else is there to do in Gainesville?
Listen, man, you got Midtown. I'm trying to tell people there's things out here for Gainesvillians to do, man. It depends on what you're into and it depends on your crowd. Come out here, KK. Come out here, A-Rod. I'm gonna show you a good time, man.
But compare that to Tampa, Florida.
It's incomparable. It is.
We got 50 beaches. We got water. We got HBC in Soho. We got Ybor City. We got downtown. We got so much to do. It's like you can't focus as a student athlete.
But even at that, like
City Springs,
But even at that, like looking at it as a point of view, like if you want to put it at Raymond James, there's nothing to do around there either. Like there's just Wing House.
Across street.
That's all you got. That's the only thing you got. Like there's nothing around there for people just to gravitate to and stick at and be like within the culture of that. It's just not there. It sucks, man. It
is. I mean, at the same time though, I see that I understand that part, but it is a bad excuse as well. Because I remember when USF was good. 67,000 people at Raymond James Stadium were watching that football game. Yeah, I remember I went to go watch Kansas play, 67,000. And that's at Raymond James. Like, that's beautiful to go see. Like, we were all there. So, like, if we're performing well on the field, kids will come. We haven't shown the consistency to want kids to come. Like, it's just like, it's a laughing stock now. Like, that's what it is.
And the last point I'll make is, and I was telling this to KK before you jumped on, is we can't, and he even said it first, that we can't even recruit in our own backyard. We can't get the local talent. And the worst part about it is, and I can attest to this because I had a kid that went to my high school who won a national championship with Saban. So by default, I root for Alabama too, because like that's where homeboy went. He made it. He did some big things. But we have Alabama in our backyard. We have Clemson in our backyard taking kids. Georgia Tech, USC,
Ohio State,
USC,
Michigan.
Right. Yeah, we have people all over the place, but mainly the ones that I know of for sure, at least recruiting from my high school that I've taken, I know have been Alabama, Clemson, USC, and Kentucky have been taking kids from my high school. So that's a far away, taking programs that are far away from Florida, taking kids out of there. So
and Tampa's like no Miami, obviously, but like. We got Plant High School is a very, very well-known program in when it comes to football. Venice has been doing well. Armwood always has talent. Gateway has some talent. Like there's a lot of good schools in Tampa where a lot of talent comes out of. And I mean, you look at the recruiting list, maybe UF, Alabama, Ohio State, and then USF for some of them is like at the end. But at least like they come visit. And we're not doing enough to sell them to just like, hey, stay at home. You'll be a local celebrity here. Like now with NIL, because we're about to get to that. Like, look, man, you can come to this car dealership. We'll give you a couple $100,000. Like, no, for real. Come to Gordon Chevrolet, you $500,000.
Bro, like, we're gonna wait to get into that. But you're right, bro. And in my area, like I've seen within the last couple of years, we've had a few kids from the area go play at USF. Jordan Smith comes to mind. He was a quarterback at Columbia. I'm blanking on his name right now, but there's a linebacker from the same school who ended up going to South Florida. So at least out here, I do feel like there's a perception that if I get a USF offer, that's a solid offer for me in this area. I don't know.
Oh, because over there, yeah.
That's a solid offer to kids out here. And any honestly, I feel like
I feel like though for Florida though, because it's a big program, it's probably, in my opinion, it's the biggest program in all of Florida. Like they're going to be prying kids from all over the state, not just staying local. They're going to be getting we all know the talent comes from South Florida. It all comes from Miami. It comes from Pahokee
and Lakeland, like Polk County area.
and
But yeah,
Polk
Polk
County.
County coming up. Well, they've been up, but yeah.
But
UF gets a lot of those Polk County kids.
You're also grabbing kids from Georgia. You're also grabbing kids from from Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina. You're getting all those kids, and then you get a surprise one that comes from California out of nowhere. So you know,
he'd be the fast running back or something, or you get a Tua, not a Tua, that's Alabama, but like somebody like a Tua who comes all the way from Cali, Hawaii, to go all the way to Alabama.
Yeah,
from Hawaii, but he went to Oregon, so that's like right around the corner.
Yeah.
They're deep. Yeah, I mean, the Oregon is just like the hippier California anyway. So, but anyways, like there's Florida can go anywhere and get kids because it's a well-made program, and it has been like that. And what we keep doing at USF is getting our hopes up with a lot of the signings of head coaches we get. Like, we were all really excited for Strong. Like, we thought that was going to be it because he did well.
It should have been.
It should have been, yeah. But he worked under the Florida coaching staff. He was there. He went and coached at Louisville. I got to see Teddy Bridgewater under him. It was a great game. I got to watch USF in Louisville. Of course, they got waxed, but still, it was an entertaining game. He has ties to Florida, so we thought that was going to be an easy recruitment. It was a disaster. Then we get this guy from I can't even Scott, right? That's his name, Scott.
Scott.
He's coming from the Clemson team, which is great, but it's like we're trying to be like you know how the NFL picks off the Patriots coaching tree, anything they can get, any low-hanging fruit they see, like, oh shit, the towel boy could be a head coach. We'll grab him and we'll take him. You know, he can be the head coach because he knows what's going on there. So just because Clemson has a winning program and you get this guy, everybody gets hyped here for it. But me as a realist with sports, like, I thought off the rip, like, this doesn't do anything for me, man. It's just a name to a good program, but it's not like we pried the defensive coordinator away, or we pried the offensive coordinator away, or we pried the head coach away from them. We just got like a guy that was just, what was he, a quarterback's coach, or what was he there?
I think he may have been the offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, if that is, that's a big thing. Then I stand corrected. But I mean, even at that, it's just like, I don't know. How long was he there for? Like, somebody quit, lose their job, and he was there for like 3 months, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we got to get that guy now."
Nah, he was there from 2008 to 2019, so 15 years. He was the co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach his last couple of years there.
Okay, well then back to my point, like, some people just can't make it. So I guess this is the guy, but hopefully he can, man. It's just one game in.
We got to give him. I mean, this is the second season. We got to give him some time to just get his whole recruiting class in the game and all that stuff.
If I'm USF, I'm bringing like the blind Baptist school for whatever, come in and just whack some game one. I'm not playing NC State.
We got to bring in Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a good transition at this point. We can move on to. So yeah, let's talk about Bishop Sycamore and the scandal. I mean, KK knows more about it. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to college football and stuff, I'm not a big, like, I'm bored with college football. I like seeing people develop throughout the season and then watch their professional career take off. But I pay attention to names and things like that. But programs, it's hard to stay intact with USF, man. Like, we know the guys. It's just, you get one guy that might make it to the league and not drafted, but it is what it is. But this whole Bishop Sycamore scandal, a high school program that's basically
not a high school program.
It's an online program with a fake front.
Yeah.
And somehow they swindled their way. I was reading up on this all today. Like, they did all these fundraisers, they did GoFundMe's, they didn't get any money from it. And somehow they were able to get all this money and people believing that they were a high school program.
They're on Max Preps. I just want to say that. Okay. Max Preps is what I used to study when I was in high school to see who I was going against and see who was doing well. And they made it to Max Preps.
And these guys got on an ESPN game against ING Academy. And we all know, like, that place is no joke when it comes to any sport that they have. Basketball and now football. Like, they produce talent there and house talent. So is it more shame on Bishop Sycamore for them getting into this and swindling all this? Or is it more shame on the high school football committee for them just, like, not doing their homework at the end of the day and letting them be on TV and question is for either one of you guys.
Rome, you take it. And I want you to use like your current background
Right.
to assess this, because I'm interested to hear what you got to say about that.
Yeah, for sure. Just like you, man, I was reading up more on it. I already heard the story, but was definitely reading up more on it today. And I think coming from a journalism background, to me, it's a major fact check error. Like, I don't blame Bishop for finessing the system and getting some exposure for their program. The real big qualm that I have with Bishop Sycamore is that they made their kids play 2 games in 3 days. For football is just not the sport.
Yeah, not at all.
Back to the bags, we don't.
Not at all.
Not at all. Like, you're putting kids at risk, you're putting teens at risk. Not a good look at all. Like, the coach honestly should be fired for that alone, much less the entire situation. Yeah. But on the ESPN's part, on the high school football committee's part, you just failed in doing your research and doing your homework as a national publication of high school athletics. Like, you can't have that. Whoever allowed them to be on TV, they should be looked at. Even the commentators, I remember seeing a clip. Some of the commentators were remarking that, like, the coaches told me that we have these players or that they have these players, and they just weren't there at all. Like, they didn't even have names to really read off. So it's tough to see these kids kind of get a bad look for that when they just, they doing what they can to get some exposure, and it really worked in their favor. But going back to the 2 games in 3 days thing, that's just a terrible look when it comes to the health and safety of the kids.
Yeah, my thing on it was first of all, like, if you go research like what Bishop Sycamore really is or whatever, like, it's not even it's a school, quote unquote, that doesn't offer any kind of education curriculum. So they don't have a campus. All this, it's all the online classes. Like, I remember back when I was in high school, if you fail a class or what, because I remember, like, I failed. I didn't fail the class, but I did bad on the FCAT or something, whatever, with a specific course. So they made me go to virtual school for that specific class. And I feel the intention was for them to go to some kind of virtual school, but we're going to be like, quote unquote, IMG, where we have because IMG is like a whole campus and you have to pay tuition. Here, they did the fundraising and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 and false checks and all that stuff. And, they interviewed some of the parents. They interviewed, like, just, some of the kids who were on the team before. And they knew it felt fishy. It felt fishy. But, like, when you're 16 years old and you are convinced, like, look, man, the only way I'm going to make it out my situation that I'm in is if I try to get into college football so that I can try to get into the league. And this dude, and they interviewed this lady. I forgot what publication she works for. But she said, she interviewed the head coach that just got fired. She interviewed him, and she said I quote, and I think I want to get it right, he could sell, oh my God, what did he say? Basically, he could sell salt to a slug. He said he could sell water to a beach kind of thing. Like, he was just like, he was really good at selling the fact that it was a legitimate high school and a legitimate program. But and so he just duped everybody. He got everybody. And then fast forward, and that's when they started to realize that this is not real.
Yeah, what I was reading up to is like you said, they did a lot of fundraising. Not a lot of money was gotten from it. However, they had like some kind of investment money. I don't know where from to make it look like they had a lot of capital. And the head coach, a lot of the kids, what I was reading up on, some were older than high school age. Some were 19, some were 20, some had kids. And they come from like broken backgrounds. And one thing one of the kids was saying is, like, it was hard for a lot of us to come together as a team because there was fights nonstop throughout all of this. And the head coach, like, these kids weren't taught anything. Like you said, they didn't have a campus. They weren't taught anything except one time out of the day, the head coach would teach them about religion or something like that. And that was it. Other than that, they just played football and went home. So one, like, how are you missing all these red linings, in my opinion? Like, if you're a parent of these kids, like some of them may not have parents, like some may be living on their own at this point. At that point, they're on their own. But the ones that do have parents, and you're sending your kid here, like, what do you think he's doing throughout the day? Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So another thing I heard of the head coach, like, I guess they would go to hotels and just like basically dash out real quick without paying. There's like X amount of money this guy has to pay. So how do you not know your research on this from a big, like there's so many red linings just coming in right away. How do you not do your research on this program and be like, this doesn't make sense? And everything is tied back to an address of like a gymnasium.
Yeah.
A church gymnasium.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, even from like the parents' perspective, like just as KK said, like these kids are thinking this could be my ticket out of here to make a way for my family. A lot of these parents think the same too. And even again, following what I learned about Bishop as well, it almost comes off like it's a post-grad institution. And knowing what I know about basketball post-grads, they definitely are ran much better than what Bishop was talking about. Yeah. But just knowing about the age that they were targeting and things like that, the things that they did, it sounds very much like a post-grad institution. Don't see that too much at the football level, really just basketball and a little bit of volleyball that I've seen. But you're right, A-Rod, like the fact that a lot of these parents or a lot of these families in general kind of missed the boat on seeing that with their own eyes, blinded by the fact that this could be a ticket for my child to get somewhere, to get us somewhere. I think that's what it comes down to. Even with parents that, or families that don't necessarily, how am I trying to say this? Even with families that don't necessarily they don't have the need for their kid to take it to that level. I do see some that are very headstrong and having their kid make it to that level because it takes the pressure off them to financially compensate them through college or whatever the case may be. So it's bigger than the game. We're talking about 5-10 years down the line, how the next level could set the whole family up.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and we talk about those 2 games in 3 days. It's like, probably to the parent, it's like, well, whatever you got to do, honey, like whatever you got to do, like get that, because you do exposure for these kids. You want them to expose, and to them, they tell their parents, yo, we got an opportunity to play on Friday or Thursday, and then come back and be on ESPN on Saturday, Mom, please. You know, and they'll be like, hey, whatever it takes, as long as we know the coach is gonna take care of y'all and y'all stay at whatever hotel y'all had to stay in. Like, all right, whatever it takes. So
I get all that too. Like I understand, like we know high school football is a full-time job in Texas. We all know that. Like those people like live, breathe football every day. Like if they could give off a day out of the week for you to be off to watch football, they would do it. I know this program is based out of Ohio. Also, like they never had.
They're similar. They're not as big as Texas, obviously in Florida and California, but Ohio,
I know Ohio is big with sports. Don't get me wrong. I know Alabama is big with football too.
Yeah,
I get that, but like I get from what the point Rome is making about, you know, this could be a meal ticket for my son, for our family, all of that to get out of this situation. You know, my faith is in all this program, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But these guys didn't even play more than 7 or 5 games a season, man. And they all were losing records. Like there's just so many red linings that tell you that this is like a Ponzi scheme or a scam, like right out the gate for everything.
One thing to add to that, I did read also another reason why some of these kids went, because they were sold that they were going to be like on like a last chance you kind of thing.
They were told they were going to practice on Ohio State field with Ohio State trainers and things like that, when all they did was practice in front of the dormitory and shit like that.
Think about it. And that's why I told you about Ohio. You know, we're talking about recruiting in your backyard. Ohio State recruits everybody from Ohio, Michigan, like they recruit in their backyard. So you tell a 16-year-old, look, you're going to practice at or near Ohio State, and you're going to be on some kind of Last Chance You kind of show on Netflix. And the parents are watching these kids on Last Chance You. Those kids growing up watching these kids on Last Chance You. It all kind of just came a culmination like, well, this kind of just makes sense. This is going to be my opportunity to get out of this situation that we're in right now.
Yeah, right. I kind of picture it like that too. And I think it's like, you know, disgruntled high schoolers that don't want to, you know, this is your opportunity now. You can't even cut it in high school. Well, come over here and we'll get you in shape to make it to college and get like a scholarship or somehow a tryout somewhere. That's the pitch there. But then again, I'm not trying to like blame parents on this. Like you just got to understand like what you're being thrown into. Like I'm not going to, I mean, some people aren't cognizant of things and I don't want to like get into the demographics and stuff and all that. We could be here for days on it, but like, you got to understand what your kid is going to. if your kid like lives, breathes, and like does football, like you kind of want to put them in an institution that is good at that, not one that is very shaky, that is very flaky, that is very you don't know anything about.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, it's just stealing, right? Like these guys, they gotta really, really, really crack down and look at this program because it's all shit. It's all joke.
Right, for sure. And sometimes you gotta think about, okay, like for my child to be a part of this program, any program, what's the cost to me? If a lot of things are covered.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's we talking about the burden. That's one major thing lifted off. I just talked to a volleyball parent before they even go anywhere. It's $4,000 just to be on a team for club volleyball. They ain't went nowhere yet. They haven't got a hotel, no tournament fees, none of that. So it's like let's imagine if that was taken off the table.
Yeah.
Where would you put your kid?
When I was in high school, I wanted to try every sport. Like I really wanted to. Like I'm just going to try everything. I knew what I liked, but I actually wanted to try baseball because I played t-ball when I was a kid, but baseball, it was like expensive. I had to buy the gloves and the bat and this. I'm like, bro, I don't we didn't have it like that. So
to that. And then you have traveling baseball too. You don't just play at school, you travel too. So there's different programs you're going to be in, and those aren't cheap. I never thought of it like that. That's shame on me for that. But yeah, man, like it's to me at the end of the day, it just seems like they had shiesty recruiters, like good wordsmiths out there to get you to come over here, basically pandering to the poor, saying, hey, we know you can't afford this. Come over here. We can take care of your kid, get him exposure. We got an ESPN game lined up.
Right, that's a big deal. That's crazy.
It is a big deal.
That's crazy.
And
go ahead.
No, I just said just for them to go on there and like the coach to be deer in the headlights the entire time. Like there's a meme of him just like Kevin Hart's gonna do a fucking movie on this shit, a show based on this, man. Like
Kevin Hart got one, Michael Strahan got one.
Yeah, like they're gonna be.
Yeah, they profited off. This is like the Fire Festival.
Oh man, yeah.
This is exactly what it is. The Fire Festival. Hulu got one. Netflix got one. Prime probably got one. Like this is a crazy big deal. But I was gonna ask. I know you've been around so many of these high schools and everything. Like, have you seen anything remotely close to this kind of a situation?
Yeah, I remember reading the notes and I saw that question. I really thought about it, man. Not to this degree with this much national spotlight. I mean, I've seen a couple of travel basketball teams maybe do some unethical things with the money that was coming in, and that was found out and dealt with. But to this severity, I haven't seen it, man. This definitely takes the cake, and I really do feel for these kids who just went into it thinking that this would just be a better opportunity for them to go forth with, and it just folded, man. I really do feel for those kids. I mean,
like some of these kids are not even taking classes, and they 15, 16 years old. Like,
right. It's like we're like 98% of student athletes that play high school sports do not make it to that next level. I read recently. So you add that into the mix. What do I do next? A lot of kids got to think about that.
Bro, I remember there was this kid from back when I was in Osceola County who went to Osceola High School, Kwame Bubba Brown. I doubt he's listening to this show, but if you are, my bad for bringing your name up. But Kwame Bubba Brown broke Emmitt Smith's record of most rushing touchdowns in the state of Florida. Like he was like, I remember because he came up at exactly the same time I came up. And I remember like, damn, this kid is good. He could go to anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
Because of his grades, he has to spend the next year like kind of doing prep school, junior college kind of thing. Yeah. Mind you, this dude is the best running back in the state of Florida. He took Osceola to the championship game. They lost to St. Thomas Aquinas. He had to spend a year trying to do like a JUCO kind of prep route. Then he went to Kansas State, and he's gonna be all copacetic, but still kind of flunked out or whatever. And now this dude, I don't know what he does for a living now, but like Kwame Bubba Brown was supposed to be like he was like the Jeff Demps and the Chris Rainey's and because he came up with these same kids. Like he was that kind of level of talent. Might have been better actually. And I mean, like simple things like just keep your education in check. You know, that kind of slips to mind. So I think about that, and I think about a 16-year-old at Bishop Sycamore who's not even in school. Basically, he's not doing virtual school. Like I'm sure he's probably practicing all day with this crazy coach and all that stuff. So it just kind of breaks my heart to see that aspect of it. It's because at the end of the day, there's kids that are involved. The school is the school, and then the NCAA. I mean, not NCAA. ESPN messed up. High school football people messed up, and at the end of the day, there's kids involved. Like, and this is bad. This is embarrassing for them. This is not a good situation for them. And unfortunately, for the most part, none of those kids are going to make it to football. And if they don't already have a plan B, kind of in the back of their heads, they'll start off 18 with absolutely no plan, no direction. They haven't taken no classes. The coach is probably not focused about their real future. It just makes the whole situation it just don't feel right. It doesn't feel right at all.
And that's when it comes to coaching, man. I tell this to teachers, to coaches, like, you just have such an opportunity to mold some very impressionable minds. Like, you think about the ages of really, let's say 13 to 17/18. Yeah. A lot can be stoked in and worked on at that age level. So if you misuse that opportunity, you don't know how they can view the world, not even just the situation, but the world going forth. And that's just a very delicate thing right there. I really think it's dark.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, let's transition to college football preview. And let's jump into the NIL, which is name, image, and
likeness.
Yeah. NCAA is now put in a rule. Most states have adopted it. As of July 1st, they're allowing students to use their basically brand to profit off of. I mean, the NCAA years back before was profiting off of video games, profiting off of them in concessions, profiting off of them in merchandising, and making a shit ton of money with no proceeds going back to these kids. Reggie Bush can't even get his Heisman back. And, is this right for sports? Are we happy with this? Is this something that everybody agrees is good for sports, or is it a two-edged sword to it? What do you guys think?
It's one thing to say, like, is it good for sports, or is it fair to sports? I think it's more fair than anything. The student athlete, before anything, you get an opportunity to practice entrepreneurship, which I think is great at that age. See if you really handle that. But one of my good friends who does R.A.W.E with me now, Jamal Corley, he said this the other day. He said he feels like we're moving like from the most pure time of the sport. And the more I thought about it, the more I kind of agree. Like, it's very money focused right now. Even before the NIL, it was already money driven. So now that the student athlete has an opportunity to make that for themselves, that's awesome. I support it 100%. But it makes me wonder, how is this going to affect team chemistry when you see your teammate getting six figures and you're not getting that? How is that team morale going to be? Are you going to perform at the same level? What are coaches going to, how are they going to handle that as a leader of the team? I'm like reading my notes right now about it, but it definitely makes me think about just, student athletes were already sitting out of bowl games, getting ready for the league 4 or 5 years ago because they didn't want to play and risk injury. Now that the money's at a higher stake, what's that going to turn into? It just makes me think about all of those things. But again, at the core, I do think it's fair to let the student athlete get an opportunity to build themselves into whatever they feel like they can be. Absolutely.
So, and I see exactly what you mean, because from the fairness point of view, there's no question or debate whatsoever. Like, you got these schools making billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars off of their name, image, and likeness. EA Sports was making billions and billions and billions of dollars, and this USF bookstore, for example, Barnes and Noble is making millions and millions and millions, and all these people are benefiting heavily off of like the hard work these kids 18 to 21, 22, 23 are doing, basically. Mm-hmm. So from a fairness standpoint, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that they're allowed that opportunity to, like you said, practice entrepreneurship, learn, because at the end of the day, not all these kids are obviously going to make it to the NFL. It's just not in the percentage cards, right? However, they're learning at an early age how to be businessmen, right? And you shouldn't deny a kid that opportunity to learn how to be a businessman. Like in baseball, you be 16 and you got ESPN coming to interview you, and then you could be 18 and be in the league quickly, right? And then you got this same 18-year-old who's probably more talented than that baseball player who is not going to make it to the majors until he's like 20, who plays for Alabama as a quarterback or as a running back, who generates way more money for Alabama than that baseball player does in a minor league, like whatever. A.R.O.W.E knows the A's better than me, AA, triple A's, and NI's and fours, right? So to me, from a fairness standpoint, absolutely, like they need to go get that bread, right? Because they should. Reggie Bush, but I live in Tampa, and because of Reggie Bush, I remember I was in high school. I'm like, man, I think I might want to go to USC. Like, I'm about to go pay out-of-state tuition. So I can, because Reggie Bush, dog, to me, Reggie Bush is the greatest college, and people might trash me because of Tebow and all this stuff. I get it, cool, whatever. Reggie Bush is the greatest college football player I've ever watched in my entire life.
I gotta agree.
Hard to argue. It is.
Okay, so I'm in Tampa. I'm in Kissimmee, Florida. I'm like, man, I was between USF and trying to consider how I'm gonna raise money to go to USC. So
or to GoFundMe.
I didn't even know what GoFundMe was back then. That would have been a MySpace thing. I don't know. But anyway, so that's out the question. Now, when it comes to what you were just talking about, because I have thought about that, like, damn, you got Derek King making this much, but the offensive lineman that blocked him ain't making none of that. You got quarterback Bryce Young making this much, but the rest of them boys, they ain't getting that kind of money too. But think of it in this aspect, because basically what it does, it teaches you how to be a businessman, and entrepreneurship and everything, all that stuff, right? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers making 45. No, who's getting paid the most right now? Is it Patrick Mahomes? Mahomes getting 50 million, right? But there's a young buck on the team only making 670,000. That's just how the world goes. You're gonna be in the business where there's somebody who's a top dog getting all the money, and then you got to work your way to become somebody who's able to get that money. I'm not gonna be jealous at X, Y, and Z, who's obviously more important to me, to the company. Like, I'm just this, but this guy is he's basically the CEO. I understand he should be making that money. Like, for the most part, a lot of these kids who are going to be getting a lot of that money are going to be your flashy skill position players, your flashy defenders, and your quarterbacks, right? So I understand why I go into a locker room and OBJ got got that nice ass watch on, because he's OBJ, and I can't be jealous to him because he put himself out there to be like that. And if I'm an 18-year-old and look, I'm corn-fed, I block for my quarterback, cool. Like,
white boy. Yeah,
I'm not gonna be mad that my quarterback is who's good right now, Spencer Rattler or Bryce Young or DJU. Like, I'm not gonna be mad that I'm doing the hard work for this man to be great for us, because you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna get me a championship. He's gonna get me exposure. We on ESPN every single week, and even if it don't work for me here, my face alone is gonna get me something. I go get it I can work. I don't have to go to a car dealership to go find the money. But look, I got social media. I'm gonna make myself look flashy and cool, and you're gonna have somebody pick you up. So I think it just kind of teaches. It's gonna teach kids how to just, because you see these kids go to the NFL, to the NBA or whatever, and they make a bad business decision because they haven't been taught anything like this before. Like, you 18 and you in college and you don't know nothing. You green. You 22. You're literally a man now, and you got Nike coming at you, Adidas coming at you. Then you got Beats headphones. Like, you don't know how to be a good businessman. You don't know how to read contracts. You don't know none of that stuff. So to me, this is like a extracurricular, like an extra credit thing that you get from being a college football player or college basketball player or whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's teaching you to get to that next level if you're able to.
Yeah. I'll touch on it real quick. The best thing that comes to mind is Kyler Murray when he was at Oklahoma. He got drafted by the A's, somehow got through the loophole, and was driving his green Lambo on the campus.
He got bread.
Yeah, he somehow beat the loophole to be drafted, get a signing bonus from the A's, and play in the NFL. So he's driving his green Lambo on campus, and you got to see that every day. Now, my big
Question to you, A-Rod. Do you think anybody on Oklahoma resented him at all?
I would say yes and no. I think the kids who don't make it could kind of resent and be like, damn, I played for this and we're in a great run and I get nothing out of this. And maybe he bought me dinner one time, but like getting to my other point is like, we're making kids grow up too fast now. Like even now at a young age, like we want our kids to go to the best schools because we want them to get ahead of themselves. And we're forgetting about, the stuff that you want to enjoy as a kid, like falling down out of trees and beating yourself, getting into fights, things like that. We want our kids to be suit and tie, speaking other languages at very young ages and making them grow up really quick. And yes, I know when you get into college, you're supposed to be getting acclimated to the adult lifestyle. I agree with that 100%. That's why I agree with like what Rome said is like, entrepreneurship, you're walking into this as like not even your major, but possibly your career as well. You're learning to become an entrepreneur right there and then. So and then the other argument is that you've got free college right out the rips. Not 100% of these kids aren't going to the league. It's a very, very small window of them to go to. So you're giving college tuition. Now I know that doesn't pay out to like the money that these programs are already making off of you. So I'm all for these kids making their money, but like you're giving your college tuition to try and learn from and get a degree and do better for yourself there and then. But a lot of kids are, not even paying attention to that because they're set on going to the league. So I think when you throw money into this down the long run, it all depends on your mental state. Because just like you said, Jerome, in the beginning, how's it going to create chemistry? Is there going to be that one guy that comes from dirt shit that is playing his heart out, is trying his hardest, but he's an offensive lineman and he's not marketable? I know you're getting exposure because the quarterback is good and things like that, but like you're doing everything you can, but you're an offensive lineman. Nobody wants to buy an offensive lineman jersey.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think I'm the only person that wants to buy an offensive lineman jersey for the Jets. That's it.
You're absolutely right, and I get that aspect of it, right? I completely understand. When this whole subject is broached, this is one of those subjects where like I can literally understand both sides of the coin, right? Yeah. Completely, right? But then I'll look at it and I'm like, but y'all know soccer. Like these kids, they start getting these kids out of these camps from 12 years old. 12, 13, 14, 15. They already got an offer on the table from Barcelona, from Real Madrid. Like remember Freddie Adu, like 15 years old. He was already like in the MLS. Like, so it's like, to me, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever it is, when a program something, whatever, notices a talent, they're gonna be locked into that talent. And the majority of the people who are getting that money, they were already like, I remember like when I was at USF, these kids weren't getting paid yet. This is, back in the day. They weren't getting paid anything yet. But you realize that the best players on the team had the best cars and they already had the best stuff. So it wasn't like these kids are going to be like jealous because this is something they're already used to. Like Reggie Bush was getting paid. Everyone knew that at USC. And there might have been an offensive lineman on that team that didn't get paid. But you know what? That offensive line still blocked his ass off for Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like this is brand new. It's just it's like weed. It's not like weed used to be 100% illegal everywhere, right? But it wasn't weird to see somebody smoking weed. Now it's legal in a lot of places. So but the same amount of people still smoke the same amount of weed. So nothing's really changing, but the legality is different. Mm-hmm. Reggie Bush was getting paid. I know that. Cam Newton was getting paid. We know Cam Newton wasn't driving no oopty on campus. LeBron James had a Hummer in high school. Do you think they were jealous of LeBron James in high school? No, they know what it is. Like, on your team, this dude, you just know at that age, and then you gonna do what you got to do so you can put yourself in position to get that. But like you can't be watching other people's pockets, and it grows you up too fast. But you learn that at a young age. Don't be watching everybody's pockets. Like you got to do what you got to do and worry about your grass and your lawn and to get to that kind of bread.
Yeah, I agree too on that. I think it does play into that. Like sports teaches you chemistry, so you want everybody to excel around you. So if this guy does well, I'm going to do well. It's kind of the mentality you have. But from a business standpoint, if we're looking at it now, because these kids are basically becoming entrepreneurs at very young ages, marketing themselves at all different ways. Like, how am I going to get paid? That's the way. If this guy, I get he's going to make, $6 million just being at this, because he's the number one recruit in the country. He's the reason people coming to see. But hey, man, I'm rushing. I'm a good running back. I might be the second string guy, but I probably got like 10 touchdowns on the season, and I may be behind the other guy, but I could easily leapfrog him because this guy's a senior, and people want to come see him and they know him. Like, do I got to wait now, or can I stay another year and make some more money? There's a whole lot of things you got to throw into this now. Like, it's crazy, and I'm all for these kids making their money, because the NCAA has been just like being big brother and bullying these guys. The only thing is now is just like the gloves are off. Like, you don't have to cover up anymore. A lot of these guys, it was just like a sheet over everything, and they're like, "How did Reggie Bush get that nice house?" He's like, "Hey man, my grandma used to be in oil business or whatever. We have money from way back then."
But
like,
you know what hasn't changed though? No matter what, these kids are able to get money, but who's paying these kids? It's not the NCAA. They just saying, "Look, y'all do what y'all got to do. We staying out of this. We're not gonna pay y'all a dime," because they're still not paying the players nothing. So the NCAA's hands is, "Look, y'all do what you got to do," and we're not gonna argue, but we're not gonna pay you. So to me, the NCAA kind of just copped out, like, all right, whatever. We just don't have to be worried that much about this anymore. Y'all just do what you do, and if you mess up your life, you mess up your life, but that's on you. Again, at the end of the day, yes, you have to grow up too fast. But now look at the NBA. Back in the day in the NBA, you didn't get your max contract till you were like almost 30. These kids are getting max deals at 22, 23 now. So now you 22, 23 getting paid $275 million. Like, that's just what it is now. That's just what it is. So if you got the right people in your corner, that's what the NCAA has to bank on, is that, look, these kids are doing whatever they're doing. They got the right people in the corner. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, so be it. Because you know what's going to happen? No matter what, every year a kid graduates and the next generation is coming up. Think about Alabama. They lose Jalen Hurts, and Tua came up. They lose Mac Jones, and now they got Bryce. Like, it's just a revolving door. Just no matter what, we got these kids for 3, maybe 4 years. Next crew gonna come through. Next crew gonna come through, and you're gonna make your money from getting a tattoo artist to do this or whatever, or you gonna make your money from your billboard being up at Jerry Old Chevrolet. So be it. So.
You really stuck on his car dealerships. Like, you see the market.
Because that's what football and car dealership go hand in hand for me.
we know what KK's calling was, man. He should have been a used car salesman.
I used to be. Y'all didn't know that I used to sell cars.
Yeah, we know that.
You told me that one time. Yeah, I do remember.
I was good at it. And guess who was equally as good? All former college football players.
Oh, same thing with Enterprise. I mean, same idea.
I worked at Enterprise.
Oh, that's what we talk. Oh,
yeah, right. That's where I worked. All former college football players.
Yeah, Enterprise. Yeah, man.
That's what it is.
All right, let's go to another college football topic. Realignment of conferences. So Texas, Oklahoma are 2 big names. Want to leave the Big 12. Historically, a really good conference for so many years, and then just programs are falling by the wayside, with Oklahoma being the most dominant one. Texas up and down all the time. Don't know how to hire. I mean, Nebraska used to be really, really good.
Texas look good this year.
Yeah, I mean, we can make the arguments about everything, but it's been a historically great conference. But we've seen a lot of programs over the years jumping ship to join other conferences and then dissolve. And then whether some of them stay in basketball and what did USF used to be? I can't even remember what it used to be in anymore.
Big East.
The Big East, yeah. Basketball, it's like semi still there, but like in football, it's dissolved. Now they're in the American Conference now. So do you think is this like is the Big 12 going to dissolve, and where do you see other like non-SEC conferences going from here? Could we see like it just become East versus West and it just be like 4 different divisions in each of those, or how could we see this playing out?
Well, I did see recently that isn't there 3 conferences that are trying to create like this alliance?
So
yeah.
Here's what I got from that. They're not necessarily going to be joining forces to be one big division.
Right.
Basically,
Yeah.
they have like an understanding that we're gonna schedule games against each other. We're gonna do this with each other because essentially the SEC is like, look, and I've been reading so much. Like this is such a people are kind of they're talking about it, but I don't think they understand how much this is going to change everything, right? Especially with the name, image, and likeness thing, because I feel like you're gonna get the most people get their name, image, and likeness in SEC schools and USC and like California schools and Ohio State. That's it. Like those are the schools that you're gonna see that. And the SEC is gonna be like, look, they already have enough. Okay. Now they got Oklahoma and Texas. Like the two schools that have been carrying the Big 12 from a football standpoint. Texas A&M done left, Missouri done left, like the school, West Virginia done left. The schools that have been holding it down. West Virginia joined. Long story short, Oklahoma and Texas have been holding it down, right? It's really been Oklahoma. Texas had, have had peaks and valleys. They're back on that peak again, but it's been them. And now all of a sudden, bam, they're in the SEC. And because of that, this trickle-down effect where the Big 12 could dissolve and become like they're trying to acquire teams. For now, right now, it's UCF, which pisses me off because that should have been us. I've been talking about the Big 12 for 10 years now. Like that's where we should go. And now UCF done surpassed the USF as a program. It's pissing me off. Anyway, UCF, Cincinnati put in their bid today. So they're gonna accept Cincinnati. That's a given. Because Cincinnati is like that dark horse that people are saying they can break into the playoffs this year. Dark horse, right?
Oh, no, I mean, other than Notre Dame, they don't really have anybody notable that they're playing for the rest of the season. A lot would have to happen for them to get in.
I mean, I agree, but this is what I'm hearing from these crazy experts, okay? Right, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, and BYU, right? So basically, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati all in the AAC. So the AAC is going to be trash, like completely trash without those programs. BYU is going to be leaving like it's just everyone is panicking and crazy, but like basically that alliance is just like a let's kind of save face kind of thing. Like, yo, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But like this is, I mean, they're talking about 12-team playoffs. This is like what A.R.O.D's talking about. Yeah, it might be some kind of like north, south, east, west kind of thing. Like this, but South SEC gonna try to go get Ohio State. They're gonna try to get, if they can't get them, they go get Clemson. They go get Miami or something like that. They don't get like why not? So it's just the whole thing is confusing and crazy. I don't know. I have no idea what, but I feel like something crazy is between now and 2030. What we know now as college football will not exist anymore. Completely not exist. I mean, think about how quickly we forgot about BCS. No, when's the last time you remember anyone uttered the word BCS? No one talks about that no more. And it's gonna be the same thing within the next few years where it's just bam. Now we got 4 big conferences or 3 big conferences, and you got it's 12 teams, like NFL kind of thing. Like the kids are getting paid anyway. It's gonna be some kind of weird NFL wild card, just crazy wild west kind of thing. It's wild.
I'm in favor for the 12-team playoff too. The fan in me of the game wants to see that.
We need that.
I've seen a couple of people from the committee itself talk about how it really doesn't have a leg to stand on, like the proposal of that. But I just don't understand what the pushback would be on that. Like, it's only going to generate the NCAA more money. Like, if we're speaking candidly about it, I'm in favor for it. I would love to see it. I don't know why it would be any pushback.
It's probably all these bowls, like the Cheez-It Bowl, the Dunder Mifflin Bowl, like the Neutrogena Bowl. Like they're trying to hold on to what they've already invested in, kind of thing.
Yeah, there used to be, which is crazy. It used to be like only like 8 bowl games that people would go to, but at the end of the day, like we always say this on the show, everything's about money, and this is all a big money grab for everybody. Just like bowl games are, they're bringing revenue to your city, and you want people to come out to that, and that's enjoyable because nobody from Arkansas at the Gaylord Central State Bowl is going to see TCU just mash up Tulane or whoever it's going to be. So, I mean, there's all money grabbing in this, and I think it's just going to come down to like 2 conferences, East, West, with 4 different divisions. That's like how it's going to be. Kind of like how the SEC is going SEC. What is it? East and West now. Like there's just so many people going over there. Like how are we gonna manage all these teams? And I don't like college sports only for the fact that I just feel like they don't have their shit together. Every day it's evolving into something, and I get that. But like even bowl games, it used to be like the Rose Bowl was the winner of the Pac-10 at the time. Now 12 versus the Big Ten is what it used to be always, or the you got to see
ACC versus Big Ten.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Pac-12 or Pac-10 versus versus Big Ten.
Yeah, so you
got
the
West versus Big Ten.
So basically, you got enjoying to see people out there in Pasadena would get to see hopefully their home USC versus like a Michigan or Ohio State or something like that. Very entertaining game. But now, if you win and you're like Ohio State and you're like, okay, I'm in the top 3 now. There's no reason for me to go to that game. Like send Michigan's ass over there because they couldn't win. Sorry, KK. But like it's just there's no what's the word I'm looking for? They're just not organized on everything. Like every day, it's like somebody's calling up and like threatening to quit. And you're like, no, don't quit yet. Like we need you still. Like just stay right where we are. We'll make everything good. So there's just it's like whether it's the student athletes or the programs, nobody's happy and everyone's just trying to grab money. And at the end of the day, this is college. It's supposed to be for fun, you know, but everybody just wants money, and it just doesn't make it enjoyable to me. Yeah. So that's all my bit on that. So I don't care what they do. 12-team playoff, let's run it.
2 spin-offs from that really quickly. The money grab thing, right? You know, like we just talk about how much is a money grab, right? And guess who is the people on the field doing all the money? Like the kids. That's why I'm like, look, hell yeah! If y'all gonna be influx and crazy like this, these kids need to be compensated because this, you know, that one you gotta have a coach come to your crib, you, your mom, and your daddy on the couch to recruit you to come to their college, right? By the time that kid gets to that college, they might have fired that head coach, and you might be moved from the Big 12 to the Pac-10. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like what you were sold could change instantly. Why? Because it's a money thing, and that's why I've always been like, look, I don't give a damn. Yeah, you cover the tuition, great. Compensate these kids because y'all generated billions. Like dog, when the NCAA tournament, they lost a lot of money in 2020 because they had to cancel the thing, right? In 2021, people were dying to watch it with no fans. It didn't even matter. Like people want to watch. They generate so much money off of March Madness. Compensate these damn kids, and I know it's a big like. Oh, what about the swimming team? What about the volleyball team? And I get that. That's why I feel like the NIL is a good start. But what brings me to my next point, there's no one single governing party. There's the NCAA, correct. But the Big 12 got their own stuff going on. SEC got their own stuff going on. Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever, got their own stuff going on. Big 10 got their own stuff. Like, there's like, it's like, there's not a commissioner, quote unquote. Like, there's no David Stern or Adam Silver or whatever that could control all these different conferences. Because at the end of the day, the Pac-12 gonna do what the Pac-12 do, and the ACC gonna do what the ACC is doing. That's just how it is. Like the NCAA is just the entity that they're all under, but they don't all follow the same guidelines. Because like certain schools, you have to shave, you got to be on the team. But that's that school, and then that school plays in that division, and that division plays in this conference. Like every conference, it's just there's no one governing party that can regulate all this stuff. There's no regulators. It's wild, wild west. SEC call Oklahoma tomorrow. I'm on the team. Oklahoma could go call Ohio State. Like, look, it's going to cost you this much to transfer. What y'all want to do? And they're going to transfer. NCAA has nothing to do with that. They can't say, no, they can't be there. Y'all call yourself the Southeastern Conference. How can you have Oklahoma? How can you have Ohio State? They don't give a damn. Hey, that's not their job. It's wild, wild west out there. But I am in favor for a 12-team playoff. I would love to see that for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it all right now. You said it, man. By the time 2030 hits, man, it's going to be a totally different.
It ain't going to be the same.
And I don't know if it'd be for better or for worse. I really don't. But I hope we at least get 8 by 2030, just to give the dark horse a shot.
Well, you know what's going to happen? what's going to happen? No matter what, we still gonna watch.
Yeah.
They changed from whatever system they had in the 60s to the 80s to the BCS to now. Guess what? Viewership is not down. More money is being made. It doesn't matter what they do at this point. It's just they gonna make us watch. They're good at it. They market it well, they sell it well. We're gonna watch.
Right. Even with the NBA All-Star Game format, how they changed that up. A lot of pushback from fans around the world.
Guess what? Still watch.
Still sat down like, I got to see how this play out.
What else you gonna do? Not watch? You gonna watch?
Hear about it? Nah, I gotta check this out. Yeah, man, it's wild, bro. Crazy.
Let's go to our last topic on college football. Since you guys love college football, obviously. I'm here talking. So, what are your takeaways from week 1, and then we can give our prediction of the 4 teams in the playoffs this year. So
it's technically like 1.5, kind of a 2. It's weird. Like week 1, it'll be like only half the teams play, and then blah blah blah. But go ahead.
Play on Monday. Fuck them, man. Whatever.
Go ahead,
hey, man. I'm really, and there's a kid out here from my area who ended up going to Cincinnati. I believe he plays DB. Really interested to see on how they develop, especially going into that Notre Dame game. Again, if they have some help from some people falling that's, above them, they could really sneak in. And I really like to see Penn State get their win the way they did, especially starting 0-5 last year. Just encouraging to see, man. I mean, obviously we know, everything that they've been through the last 10 years.
They've been through a lot.
They've been through a lot. So to kind of see that bounce back. And I really like James Franklin as just a person. I think he has like the best interest for his kids at heart as a coach. So yeah, that was cool to see. That was cool to see. For the playoff, I mean, you got to write Alabama in there guaranteed. I'm going to hope for Florida to get in there somehow, some way, man. If we, again, 1 loss into Georgia, we beat Georgia, we in there. We just going to slide in there, just coast out. So that's 2. I don't know if you can keep Clemson in. I don't know if it's a given.
It wasn't a bad loss. It was just it's the first loss of the season. It was against Georgia, so it's like
who they got next week?
Clemson. They're gonna beat up on whoever they got next. They got next. Clemson they got South Carolina State. Gonna be like 70-3.
Well, I mean, okay, so just talking about Clemson's opponents, I don't have their schedule on hand. Virginia Tech, they look a lot better. I still got a little faith in North Carolina to compete. If they do end up playing them, I'm not sure. Again, I don't have the schedule on me.
I'll tell you right now, they got South Carolina State, then they got Georgia Tech, Dub. They got NC State. Now, the way they beat USF, I think they basically Alabama to me now. So
they'll compete.
Who knows?
They're gonna show up.
And then Boston College, they're gonna destroy them. Syracuse is always tricky with them. Pittsburgh, Florida State gave Notre Dame a little rough for the money, but it's still Florida State. Louisville, UConn, Wake Forest, South Carolina.
Oh, we said South Carolina?
South Carolina. I see, like that's like their rivalry game.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, never mind about that. I mean, you said it. NC State could challenge them just by the way they showed up against USF, but I mean against USF. So that's that. Now I don't know who you got for the other 2.
I don't got Florida in mind.
What?
Come on, man.
All right. So tell me your other 3, because I know Bama's gonna be in there regardless.
Roll Tide for sure. As a Big Ten guy, man, it's unfortunately Ohio State. They're gonna be there. It's just they got. Chris Olave is a dog. Garrett Wilson's a dog. The new quarterback's a dog. The defense is they settled down again. They don't get no preseason games in college, so everyone's gonna look kind of weird week 1. Ohio State, they gonna come strong. So the Tide gonna be there. Ohio State gonna be there. There's gonna be a second SEC team. That's just the nature of the game. Unfortunately for you guys, you gotta look at Georgia, and you gotta look at Texas A&M. The way Georgia did well against Clemson, man, that defense is for real. I don't really particularly like how Georgia played. I mean, they didn't score any touchdowns on offense. I think it was like a pick six that they had for a touchdown. So we're gonna see how Georgia looks, but I mean they look good up front on both sides of the football, and that's how you win. So I got Georgia. I'm gonna take I'll take Texas A&M over Georgia as my third team, and then as my fourth team, I gotta look at probably Oklahoma. I gotta look at probably Oklahoma as my fourth team because Oklahoma always they just find a way to kind of sneak in. They got the little scare for Florida State, but the Big 12, I mean, Texas is gonna be a tough game for them, but the Big 12 always finds a way to kind of figure it out. So I'm gonna look at I got Bama, Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Oklahoma as my four.
All right. Well, Rome's coming back. Hopefully.
He did. We live.
All right. So my biggest takeaway from week one, can't see you yet. We see your name. So my biggest takeaway from week one is Miami fans. Your season starts this week, okay?
Season's already over.
Get rid of your turnover chain. Like, it's cute and all, but it's whack. I'm happy to see Florida State hanging again because their program was kind of like in the shits for a bit. So I think they got the head coach steamrolled out. Very entertaining game with Notre Dame. So
I got a quick question for you because I've seen it a lot since I've been here. Are there a lot of Florida State fans in South Tampa?
Yeah, there's a big Florida. Like when no lie, like a couple weeks ago before the season started, like I guess it was like the Crimson versus Gold game or whatever they do, and Ebo was flooded with Florida State
fans. There's a lot of Florida State fans down here, bro. Like
and
I go to the Crunch, nothing but Florida State fans there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. Florida State is whatever. They're cool. They produce good defensive players and some offensive guys. But the whole joke the whole day when I was in Ebo was like, "Yo, who's winning?" it was just the defense versus the offense the whole time. So, but my four teams in the preview for the college football final is going to be, of course, Alabama. You already got to king them already. I say Ohio State's going to get in because they just consistently getting in there. Georgia, I'm throwing them in. I'm going to say that Clemson, this isn't going to be their year to get in. I think they're going to take a step back. I do like their quarterback a lot. That was a great game to watch. Good defensive game on both sides. But I think Georgia just has a little bit more presence. And then my last one, I mean, you took it away. I was going to say Oklahoma too, but I'm going to put Texas A&M. And I think Jimbo Fisher.
3 SEC schools?
Yeah.
Impossible. They would never do that.
Hey, man.
Notre Dame got a better chance. They would never allow
Jimbo
that.
Fisher got paid, and he's ready to win, man. So those are my four teams in there. My dark horse, just because I'm a big fan of them, is going to be USC, but I don't think they'll make any noise this year.
I didn't get to give my my quick take from the weekend. My quick take.
Four at the end, so
yeah, my quick take. UCLA. That's all I'm gonna say. UCLA. Chip, and I don't. You know how we feel, Rome. I don't like Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly. Yeah. He's always on my hit list, no matter what. But Chip Kelly got the boys looking good at UCLA.
Yeah.
We need you.
What about Iowa State? How we feel about them?
See, everyone got Iowa State. People say Iowa's a dark horse, but UCLA, the way they made LSU look, they got some dogs in the West Coast now. They got some different. See me, I'm an offensive line, defensive line guy. They got some dogs on the line. So and then Charbonnet is a Heisman candidate already. So the running back. So yeah, the boys in the West Coast, you gotta watch out for them.
I mean, they're going to end up playing some great teams too. I mean, obviously Oregon, USC.
Yeah.
Where'd they end up in the AP poll?
As of right now, UCLA. Let's see where they ended up. I believe they were top 15. I could be wrong because they beat LSU, which is a big deal. It's not coming up. But anyway, let's see. UCLA ranking. Yeah. I gotta ask my Pokédex. Hey. Number 16.
Okay.
They
Right.
rose to 16.
Little jump above USC or jump below USC. Okay.
But I would definitely say watch the hell out. Like LSU it's an SEC school. They went to the West Coast thinking they're gonna see like this cute little West Coast team, and UCLA looked like the big boys this time. So
I mean, definitely like they could, make that Rose Bowl push for the playoff though. I don't know, man.
I didn't say as a playoff. I just said as a watch out. My big
Just
take.
watch out. Okay.
That's my big take was watch out. Yeah.
We seen go 9-2, 9-2 like that, just off the strength of what they did in that first game. Like, we seen going 9-2.
We gonna see, man. Like
So
I gotta say, they looked impressive for me.
You got Alabama. You say Florida's gonna sneak in.
Right.
Who are your other two you're gonna throw in there?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma.
Okay.
And a hot take, man. I don't know why I feel like I'm gonna stick with Iowa State. I'm gonna stick with Iowa State, man. That's my hot take for this.
They got to beat Ohio State to get in.
They do, and I feel like if there's any year to do so with what they have so far,
they got a baby at quarterback.
Hey man, we gonna show up.
No, Ohio State got a baby at quarterback.
Oh, they do. You're right.
Yeah, so that could be the reason why, because he's still a child.
Take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Take advantage. Exploit that.
But 3 SEC schools, A.R.O.W, I don't see it, bro. There's not the league, the NCAA. They don't got no voice, but the voice they got is the playoffs. They ain't gonna let three SEC teams get in.
It's a year of turmoil, bro. They're just like, fuck it, whatever. Y'all want to play? Everybody's in the SEC. Well, now there's 3 teams in the SEC in the bowl game. So what's up?
Do you think Texas A&M will play in the SEC championship?
I got Texas A&M making the playoffs. So
yeah, I think Bama's there for sure. I'm gonna put them against Ohio State.
Who in the West? Is Florida in the West?
Florida's in the East.
Oh, it's the East. LSU's in the West. They're gonna be LSU.
And A&M is in the West.
A&M is in.
Where's Bama, A&M, and LSU are all in the West.
Oh, Bama's in the West too?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, then. Nah. Well, they might not have to worry about that.
That's what I'm saying. Who, A&M?
Yeah.
So A&M is going to make it to the playoff without playing in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
It's going to be
because
Florida.
Alabama going to beat up on whoever come out the East. Texas A&M is going to lose maybe one game, and there's going to be a lot of one-loss teams this year. What's their schedule? Let's look at it. They got Colorado dub, New Mexico dub, Arkansas dub, they got the only losses road is Alabama. And that's not a bad loss in the thick of things.
You better look at Auburn. Don't sleep on Auburn. And
the only loss is against Alabama.
Bro, they might fold versus Auburn or Ole Miss. One of those.
All right, man, you're the expert.
Hey, listen, man, I'm telling you, look out for Iowa.
All right, my bad, dog. You're the expert. I'm just saying, I only see one loss on their schedule is against Alabama. And that game's being played. And that game's being played where Johnny Manziel did his shit at 7-8 years ago. Just saying.
I remember that. I'm gonna remember this in November, bro.
All right, let's wrap up the show. Let's do our little fun simulator to have it in. Let's run through it quick. We're gonna give NFL MVP. Let's go away from college a little bit. So we'll give NFL MVP, our Super Bowl participants, winner, and then one bold prediction. So you're the guest. You're the guest. You get to go first.
Let's get it. I got Seahawks, Bills.
Okay.
Seahawks, Bills. Overall MVP, I like Russ. I like Russ to get that this year. I believe the Hawks win the Super Bowl versus the Bills. And my, little bold prediction, I got the Browns in the AFC title game.
Okay. I was gonna ask you, who's the other team that are gonna be playing against the Seahawks in the in the NFC Championship game, and then who's playing against the Bills in the AFC Championship game?
Right. So in this case, I got Bills Browns AFC
Okay.
title. I got Hawks Bucks. I think the Bucks will get back to that NFC title game. I mean, come on, man. You bring back 22 starters, man. I've never seen that.
Never seen it.
That. So you got to at least get back to that point. But I think, especially with what Russ went through last year, this is a season to really turn up and prove a lot of his doubters wrong. So I can see it happening.
All right.
Oh, man. Yeah, man.
You want me to go, A-Rod?
No, I'll go. You like to finish things off.
I like to finish it off.
NFL MVP. I'm gonna say Russ too, man. I feel like he's owed one. This has got to be his year.
Let Russ cook, huh?
I love
Russ cook, man.
I love Russ. I love Pete Carroll. I love the Seahawks, man. They're like one of my super like secretive teams. I root for them and the Ravens. So I like Russ. My Super Bowl participants are going to be the State Farm Bowl. We get Kansas City and Green Bay is what I'm gonna say. So,
I wanted to see that last year.
That's what we all wanted.
we did, but Kevin King fucked us all. So fuck you, Kevin King. And I got Aaron Rodgers winning it in a shootout at the very end. So I'm gonna put Green Bay Packers as the winner. And my bold prediction: Cam Newton will be a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers when Big Ben goes down. That's my bold prediction.
Man, you went all the way there.
Season?
When Big Ben goes down, Cam Newton will be signed and will be the starting quarterback.
That's a big one right there. I like that one. All right.
All right, I'm gonna wait for that.
Who's your other team that you got representing AFC and NFC in the championship game?
For me,
Yeah.
I have Bucks in Green Bay. And on the other side, I have, it pains me to say this, Patriots and Kansas City.
Oh, you got Patriots go. Oh, okay.
Mac
Jones, huh?
Bill's mad this year. He made a lot of moves. Bill did unbill things this year. So I think the Patriots are back to being the Patriots again.
All right.
Was it? Hold on, real quick. Wasn't it Green Bay versus the Bucks last year in the NFC title game?
Yeah. You got the same. You got the same exact bowl game. NFC championship game 2 years in a row. Okay. All right. Check me out. I'm gonna give you my MVP, but my MVP is actually my bold prediction as well. Why is it my bold prediction? Because the last time a defensive player won MVP was in 1986 by Lawrence Taylor, LT. Okay, wow. My bold prediction is because of that extra 17th game, some defensive players breaking that sacks record. That somebody getting 24 sacks this year, and we don't see Derrick Henry run for 2,000 and then he'll get no love whatsoever, and I don't appreciate that. But when somebody gets 25 sacks this year, not even 24, 25 sacks, they're gonna have to look at this award differently because Tom Brady gonna do his thing. Patrick Mahomes gonna do his thing. Josh Allen gonna do his thing. They're gonna have comparable stats. Aaron Rodgers too. They all gonna have comparable stats. But I'm between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Whichever one of those two get 25 sacks, give him the damn MVP. And my guess right now, I want to say it's gonna be Myles Garrett, which coincides with my other pick. I got the Browns making it to the Super Bowl this year, guys. I got the Cleveland Browns representing the AFC. Myles Garrett got 25 sacks. Baker Mayfield doesn't ruin it. Like he just hands the ball off to Chubb, dumps the ball up to Kareem Hunt, and let them cook. Okay. They got the best offensive line in football, and they got one of the better D lines of football as well. So I got Myles Garrett winning an MVP, taking his team to the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is pissed off this year. He's going to come out for second place in MVP voting. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to beat Tom Brady this year in the NFC Championship game. Return the favor kind of thing. Randall Cobb going to catch a game-winning touchdown pass. It's going to be crazy stuff going on. And I got Aaron Rodgers winning his second Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. And then we'll see what happens next year. That's what I got. But yeah, the Browns are gonna finally break through.
Okay, man. I see it, man. I can see it.
I'm bold.
Who is the Browns playing in the AFC title game? Who you have for that?
So here's the problem. They're gonna play the Chiefs, okay? They're gonna play the Chiefs.
Okay, that's fine.
Now the Chiefs are gonna beat them week 1. That's what's gonna happen, right? Because they play week 1. And the Browns gonna remember that film for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Hold on to that energy. Because last year they were so close to beating the Chiefs with the backup quarterback that the Chiefs brought into the game. And this year they're gonna break through and they're gonna find a way to get it done. I don't know what make, I'm all in. Vegas got 10.5 wins for as the over and under for the Browns. I'm over. I'm definitely over on that. I'm not even a gambling man like that, but I'm about to put some bread on that. And
what you give them? 12? Or 12-5?
Yeah, they got 12-5. They got a tough schedule. Don't get me wrong, but as long as Baker Mayfield don't completely just fall off of a cliff, like completely fall off a cliff, they have zero weaknesses on that football team.
Right.
Zero.
Right. Yeah, OBJ's back healthy. Was healthy as can be. Yeah, man.
My other bold pick is that if the Eagles win the NFC East champions this year, but you know.
Listen, just like you say, man, keep the expectations low. But hey,
you're gonna be surprised.
When we see the Cowboys play the Bucks tomorrow night, that's gonna tell me a lot.
Man,
where we focus. I don't got Washington, no faith in New York like that. But yeah, man, that's the only competition I see.
Well, when the Bucks play, I'm gonna be the biggest Bucks fan, bro. I'm gonna be because the Cowboys, I can't stand them. I'm gonna be wearing Tom Brady Michigan jersey. I'm gonna be, let's go, Tampa Bay. I'm so excited to see the Cowboys get their ass beat on national TV.
Let's do a score prediction for that before we get off real quick.
I like that.
Yeah, what you got? You lead it off. What you got over there, A-Rod?
I'm gonna say Cowboys got no defense. I'm gonna say 34-21 Buccaneers.
Okay. What you got? What you got on it?
I got 31-20.
Bucks.
31-20 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Gotcha. Okay. I got 21-17 Bucks. I think both offenses gonna struggle a little bit for some reason. 21-17.
Stumble out the gate.
Yeah. Shaking the cobwebs off a little bit.
4 point, huh?
Before I said Cam Newton was my bold pick, my other bold pick was Zeke Elliott to win the rushing title, but I didn't want to do it to your boys like that.
I would have. Derrick Henry is not losing that. He's not even going to let Zeke pass nothing.
Plus, KK and I auto drafted our football team from our friends.
Hey, don't let the world know that we drafted them ourselves.
Fuck that. That shit was auto drafted. Our shit was auto drafted. It's an amazing team, and we
don't let the world know that we did that ourselves. I said
you can auto draft when there's money on the line. It's tough to do.
There's no money online, just bragging rights. But
all right.
We also treated DJ Moore for Lamar Jackson, so like we're fuck all that. I'm letting it all out. I'm airing it out, man. We're just making deals left and right, and it's not even fair. Tiny Sports, watch out.
Yo, man.
Hey, don't let the world know that, man. We drafted that team ourselves, man.
Hey, man, if you got a good squad, just, you ain't got to let nobody know.
The team looked nice, man, so we did that. That was our draft, man. We did that.
If it was trash, you'd be out here like, man, that's computer, man. That wasn't even me, though. That's all computer. If it was trash.
All right, let's wrap up the show. Rome, this is your time to plug yourself. Talk about anything that you want. The floor is yours. Let everybody know where they can find you at, where they can follow you at. Spit about Raw, all of that, man. We all want to hear it.
For sure, man. My handle is Jerome Alexander _ on IG. For the business, it's R.A.W.E recruits on IG. On Twitter, Raw _ recruits. And man, I just feel super blessed to be in this position to not only be on this show, but what I've been doing with Raw the last 5 years or so. It's taken me so many places I didn't imagine. It's allowed me to be around and help people in so many different ways that I didn't envision when I first moved to Gainesville. And again, to know that all of this birthed like from a class project to going to across the country to, you know, do projects and help people get that extra collegiate exposure. Again, I just feel super blessed to be a part of that, man. So if y'all want to support that, please follow the platforms. Check us out on our website, rawrecruits.com, to learn more about what we do. And if any of y'all have anybody in your family that plays any high school sports or knows anybody in your circle that plays high school athletics, spread the word, man. We're definitely here to help as many people as possible get that exposure out for them. And I don't take this position lightly at all. So appreciate y'all letting me come on the show. Longtime friends, longtime fraternity brother and KK, man. So just appreciate it, man. Keep going with what y'all are doing. I believe in it for y'all.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
We support everything you do, man. We'll plug you in on the podcast too. All organic conversations, man. Like I said, I haven't seen you in a long time, but it's great to catch up with you, and it's great to know that you're doing well and impacting others too, man. That's awesome, man. More power to you. And if I know anybody, we're throwing them your way. No doubt about it. No ifs, ands, or buts there.
My man, I appreciate it too, man. You over here doing your thing. We all out here just successful. You said at the top of the show, man, remembering those college days and just, you know, some of the struggles that we had at that point to, you know, 2021, and here we are. It's a blessing on everybody's front, man. So let's just keep moving on all one accord, man.
And like I said, man, when you do that Hall of Fame speech, don't forget to mention that girl. And don't forget to mention us. Don't forget to mention us as well, man. You know what it is.
I do hope she come across this, man. I might have to hit up her old coach or something to send this podcast to. But yeah, man, I won't forget it.
All right.
As for us, Twitter @fair_weatherpod, IG, Facebook, and YouTube, you can find us at the Fair Weather Podcast. And wherever you subscribe to podcasts, you can find us there as well. My background today is Michael K. Williams passed away on Monday. Big influential movie guy for me. I really enjoyed him in The Wire, Lovecraft Country, his show on Viceland. Just really sad for me. So I kept his quote up there from very, very big quote from The Wire. So I kept that up there today. No sports for me. Football is back, guys. We get to see football tomorrow. I'm looking forward for our next episode 37. I got nothing else to add, KK.
Hey man, fly Eagles fly. Go Wolverines. Roll Tide roll. and then USF. I got us at least scoring a touchdown this weekend. That's my bold prediction. At least scoring a touchdown this weekend, baby. We ain't going 2 games with no touchdowns. Let's go.
Can't do it, man. Fire the OC if that's the case. Fire the OC.
They all gotta go, man. They all gotta go.
All right, y'all. Peace.